How's everybody doing tonight? My name is Rosalie Tenset, and I'm with Boy with Stick Productions. Tonight, our subject matter in particular is going to be on networking at the film festivals. I'm excited about this topic because not only, hello Chris, welcome. Not only is it a great subject matter for actors, but it's also a great subject matter for new filmmakers, how to get to know people, how to take advantage of being at a film festival, even if you don't have a film in the film festival. Hey, the Phyllis, good to see you again. Last night, Tiffany, one of our, thank you for the hearts, Tiffany, one of our attendees last night on our pilot episode, asked a really good question. She asked us about the fact that she is going to be in a film festival, which congratulations, with her film that looks like it was shot at Cannes, which is amazing. Hey Kathy, great to see you. I'm so excited for you and the fact that your film got into the Macon Film Festival. So what we're going to address tonight is a bunch of different things that you can do to prepare yourself. Thank you guys so much for those hearts. In fact, you know what? I'm going to have a little contest about the hearts, guys. This is what I'm going to do. Watch this. Whoever gives me the most hearts by the end of the week, I am going to send you a Failure Groupies mug. A Failure Groupies mug just for giving the most hearts this week on this show, the new Filmmakers Forum. People are coming in, just want to catch you up that this is going to be a place where we can talk about film festivals, about being a new filmmaker, how to make the most decisions that are going to affect you positively down the road once you decide you want to make a film, like things you might not have thought through ahead of time. So we were talking about Allison is going to a film festival in Macon, Georgia, and she wants to know, like, how can she best prepare to network? And before you go to the festival, this is what's really important. Go on the festival's website, and you're going to see who is playing, which films are going to be at that film festival. You want to watch their trailers, because once you've seen their work, Tiffany is laughing about something. Once you see their trailers and you know what their work is, once you get to the film festivals and there's opening nights and there's parties, you're going to be able to say to people, oh, what's your film? And they're likely going to hand you, it depends on the festival. Sometimes people are like this and sometimes they're not. But they're likely going to hand you something like this, which is like the postcard of their film. And as you can see, we have the festivals that we've been in and whatnot, and it has all my contact information on it. And if you see this and you've already seen the trailer, how nice that you'd be able to say to that filmmaker, oh, I saw your trailer, it's fantastic, I love the film. Or you get to say something specific about it. Being able to say that you have checked out somebody's film ahead of time before you get to that festival says to that person, it's just like saying, oh, did you do something to your hair? You look different. But it's basically saying, hey, I cared enough that I was interested enough in what is going on at this festival and the different films that are in this festival that I know something about it. So you're not going to be just standing there with your thumb up your butt, not knowing what to say to somebody. You can talk to them about their film, which is amazing. And different actors will come if they don't have the cards because they're not a filmmaker. I've had different actors give me, I hope they don't mind I'm showing this, but this just advertises who they are, right? An actor will give me a card, and it's very important that your picture is on the card and your contact information. Notice that she has a picture on the back, she has a picture on the front, and what I really like about this particular card, which is different than my card, which I'm going to redo my cards, because you'll notice mine are shiny and I can't write any notes on these. Like if I want to hand my card over to somebody, or somebody hands me their card, if I don't have a way to like write on here, and I write on here and remember how I remembered that actor or how I remembered that sound guy. Like I'm always looking for really good sound guys because they're so busy all the time, and quite often at these festivals you'll meet sound guys. Or people that are cameramen, or you really like the cinematography in a particular film and the cinematographer is there and you really want their card. Sometimes, I know cinematographers don't really walk around with cards, but they should, because like if I love the work, I'm interested in knowing. I keep track of these things. And if an actor, I see an actor in a film and I know that they have this kind of card, I might say, hey, do you have a card? You will notice there are certain film festivals, and especially the smaller ones, everybody's walking around with these cards. Everybody's got them. Lisa Budwig, who came with me and was my wingman, which we're going to talk about a little bit, at the Garden State Film Festival, did a smart thing. She had her headshot on the one side of her card. Okay, here's another example of a headshot being on a card. Had a headshot on the card, and then on the back had the film that she was in at that festival. Because if you know that your film that you're going to be in is going to be in a large amount of film festivals, you should just make sure that you make up some of these cards. You can get them at like where's the really cheap place? Vistaprint. You can get them really cheap there. You can get them printed up at Staples, but you're going to be able to moo.com is also great. But here's the thing about moo.com. They have those little tiny cards, you know what I mean? They're like, I don't even have one. I had one made up a long time ago, and people just don't know what to do with those. They just get lost. Remember that filmmakers, when they're at these film festivals, they're walking around with jeans and nothing else. They don't have a place to like stick all this stuff. So even this, for filmmakers, if they're interested in it, or distributors or whatever, they will pick this up. Generally, you'll find out that they'll fold it and they'll stick it in their back pocket or something. So you don't want to be carrying, you're not going to carry around headshots, you're not going to carry around resumes. You're going to look like a dork if you do it, so don't do it. Get something like this that has, like, this is kind of cool, right? Because this could be scanned on somebody's phone and probably goes right to their website. I don't know, I haven't tried it yet, but I will tell you that I carry around like a geek, like a little baggie of my postcards. They also end up on a table. There's a table where all the postcards go. And so that's where you generally put them, but then you always walk around with them because you end up, somebody will say, well, what's your film? Are you a filmmaker? They always ask, are you a filmmaker? Generally, they'll know you're a filmmaker because you'll have something like this, which is a filmmaker's badge that you will be wearing. And then people know to come up to you and say, oh, do you have a film? And you're like, yeah, tell me about your film, whatever. And you can hand them a card. Okay, so cards. Make sure that you have some kind of cards. Make sure that you've done the research ahead of time. Checked out the films that are on that film festival. Watch their trailers, especially if you're in a short, which, Tiffany, as I recall, you're in a short. You should watch those trailers because they're going to be in your section, particularly the trailers that are in your section, because you're going to end up having conversations with those people. You're going to end up meeting those people. So it would be really great if you could be able to say something nice about their film. I will tell you that one of my actors in the film, if you've seen the trailer, is a boy, a young boy. And he, I forgot to tell you guys, if you have questions for me and you're not on this, I will be looking at my Twitter occasionally for to see if you have any questions. So if you yeah, isn't he a cutie? The boy, his name is Danny. And he had at one festival 2 filmmakers come right up to him and offer him roles. One asked him to audition for their film, and they did cast him in it. And the other one, it just would have been too difficult for him to do it. It was out of town, and it was a weird, frankly, I thought it was a little odd. But, you know, you can kind of suss those things out when you meet the different filmmakers. But, you know, he ended up with a job right out of that. And also, he also ended up with a great manager, which I kind of helped him with. I recommended him to that manager, and this film helped him secure his management, and it's great management. So I think that's pretty cool. So these film festivals help you a lot if you work them right. The thing about, especially actors, when you're walking around with cards, don't be just like walking around holding it in your hand being like, ooh, who wants my card? Who wants my card? Actively engage them in an interesting conversation. Find out, oh, what are you here with? What's your film? Oh, yeah? And you're going to find that there's a lot of people that are just at the film festival, be at the festival. But where this stuff happens is usually, there's a couple times that it'll happen. There'll usually be a party on a Saturday night that's for the filmmakers. They'll call it a filmmaker party. And there's also, yes, Allison, I'm going to answer that question in a second. At the breakfast the next morning, there's usually a filmmaker's breakfast, either a Saturday morning or on the Sunday morning, and that's where I actually ended up hiring a director, and I ended up working with another 2 different people, and everybody that I've ended up working with I've met at the filmmaker's breakfast that I've ended up having collaborations with later. So that is something that's a great thing to keep in mind. Don't just go to see your film and then do the talk back and leave. You're not taking advantage of the film festival. The film festival is to be there to learn. You're going to see other films. You're going to see the type of quality that those film festivals expect. Every film festival is different. You can go to some film festivals that are showing a lot of student films and they're okay. And some student films are amazing. And then you get to see films that are going to be distributed and that are going to be in major theaters, and you'll be the one that gets to see it first. But you can see the gamut of what that festival's flavor is like, so that if later on you're a filmmaker, you're going to know what they like. You're going to know, oh, based on who their programmers are that year, what their taste is. That's the other thing. If you're a filmmaker at those parties, you're going to be looking for the programmers. And every film festival usually has a program of some sort. I should have pulled the program. Hold on. Has different types of programs like this, okay? So here's the Garden State Film Festival program, okay? And look, I stuck everybody's cards that I met at the Garden State Film Festival in this thing. And I remember it. I have it in my brain, but I also make Evernote notes about people that I liked and the films that I liked, and here's all the postcards from those. You get one of these like almost like a program, right? And in the program they're going to say who they're honoring, who's going to be at the banquet, and it has a list of all the different films. Like, it'll have the whole film program. So there's no excuse. All you have to do is start researching who are these films, find out where their Facebook pages are, hit like on the Facebook, on their Facebook, and you also want to start following them on Twitter and saying, I'm going to be at that film festival too. Are you attending? Congratulations on getting in the film festival. And I have had people come up to me at film festivals because I look up their Twitters, I look up their Facebook, I say, hey, we're going to be screening the same time you are, the same day that you're screening. And they'll be like, hey, aren't you Feel Your Groupies? You're Feel Your Groupies, aren't you? Just from recognizing my face on the Twitters. And that's very important, to use pictures in your Twitters so that people will know who you are. And so when they'll come up and go, why do I know you? I know you from somewhere. And I'm like, well, did I tweet you? And they'll be like, yeah, you did. And then we end up hanging out, seeing the films together. I've made really amazing deep friendships at these film festivals. And I have, like I said, ended up hiring some of the people that I met because I have a no asshole rule on set. So the way to vet that out is to be hanging with them at a film festival and seeing what their personality is like, and how they behave in group situations and with people sometimes that aren't pleasant. You know, how do they react and everything. So the wingman question, Allison Hummel, thank you. That was a great question. I did mention bringing a wingman. And Lisa Budwig, who's a great actress, who had a film in the Garden State Film Festival, and I had a film in the Garden State Film Festival. What we did was we ended up, that's Kathy, thank you. I'm going to address that question in a second. What we do is we usually go to the festival. I take a friend, somebody who's in the business but has some couth, right? So what do I mean by that? I mean somebody that knows how to, Bonnie Gillespie, if any of you know who Bonnie Gillespie is, she wrote this book. It's a great book, and she has this thing that she calls lurking and leading. And lurking and leading means, you know, you hang out, you get to know what the other people are doing. You ask them questions about themselves. You don't just go in there and try to sell yourself to anybody. There's nothing more annoying than somebody coming up to you and trying to sell you on who they are. So, you know, you come in there with the knowledge that you have, which is power, by going and finding out what these films are that you're screening with, looking at their trailers, having something to say about their trailers. I mean, even if you didn't like it, at least you've seen it, and you could ask them a question about it. Well, what is that really about? I saw the trailer, but, you know, what inspired you to write that story? Something like that, so that you can start talking to people and building a relationship with them. And Kathy Carey made a really, hello Kathy Carey, follow her, by the way, if you want to swipe Kathy Carey. The wingman sells you. That's exactly it. Whoever's with you can give you compliments so that you don't have to go there saying, I'm amazing, my God, you should see the shot list that I put up. You should see the people that I hire. I'm the most amazing producer. I'm the most amazing screenwriter. Your wingman can be like, wait till you see the film. You're gonna love it. It's so funny or whatever. And then, you know, consequently, you can turn around as well and say the same thing about them, you know, to the next person, or say, you know, I love this person. They're a great actor. Whatever, you know, whatever compliment you have about that person, you guys can sell each other and not have to feel like, and then invariably, because you're having a conversation, somebody will end up saying, hey, do you have a card? You know, what's your film about? What's a card about? And that's when you go, why, as a matter of fact, I do. Let me give you this, you know, and you hand over your film card. I also do have these smaller cards for, like, especially crew guys that I know aren't really interested in taking the film card, but I have this card that I hand to them, so that they have that. So I'm walking around with those things. Those are my tools that I come with, but I've done my research ahead of time before I got to the film festival. Find out who's in there. I made a mistake. Here's my don't. I like an idiot at the Garden State Film Festival, which is a lot of fun. I did not know who they were honoring or past honorees, and Lisa can tell you the story. So this unbelievable guy is standing in back of me, and I can hear him talking to, oh, he was going the wrong direction, and I said, hey, the line is this way. So he ends up standing next to me, and he has like this James Earl Jones voice, right? This amazing voice. And I turned around at one point, they decided they were going to interview the three of us on some television program. So I end up with it, and I was like, God, you got a really great voice, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, he's like a hugely famous actor, okay? Like an idiot. And he was being honored. I didn't know that. And that was stupid. It was a missed opportunity for me to say, you know, congratulations, this is terrific. And had I really read through my program ahead of time, I would have recognized the guy, because I'm terrible with names, but I'm really good with faces. But I would have at least remembered that. So that's one of the things that you can figure out. Now, key, if this is a really good film festival, they're going to have workshops. You want to sign up for these workshops if you can, because they're amazing. Like the Montclair Film Festival, which not many people know about. They had Michael Moore, Stephen Colbert was there. Who's a guy from 40-Year-Old Virgin? See, this is me and names, okay? But you know what I'm talking about, the lead in the 40-Year-Old Virgin. He was there, and this is where our film actually premiered. And I was like, well, you know, Montclair, what's Montclair? This is an amazing film festival. And one of the most amazing things about it is the different workshops that they have. And if you have a filmmaker badge, you know, you can go to all those workshops and it's all free. Which is wonderful, and take advantage of it, because they answer your questions one by one if you have them. The stand-up, you can ask them a question about anything. It's your opportunity to learn from them and other filmmakers. That how did you get the money? How did you get the financing for this? Without a Box, Allison is asking, where's the best place to find the festivals? I'm going to do a whole nother show on that, Allison, about, I would say, Without a Box is getting to be a little old school. Film Freeway, though Without a Box had to up their game, but Film Freeway links right to your Vimeo links, and we'll talk about that at another show. Tonight we're dealing with our wingman and our way to network. Also, you should be dressed the way you want to be shot in front of the step and repeat. Everybody knows what a step and repeat is, right? It's the big wall that has who the sponsors were on. It's the big, you know, stand there and look glamorous wall. But you want to be on brand. Don't think about the film you were just in. Dress for the film you want to be cast in next if you're an actor. Or quite often you're going to notice that, you know, filmmakers, they're just in jeans and maybe a blazer, depending on how fancy the place is. But, you know, filmmakers are just wearing jeans and a shirt, and sometimes, you know, they hardly look bathed. But the actors, remember that this is part of your brand, so you're going to want to dress how you're going to want to be photographed and how you're going to want to use that photograph later, which is very important for you for your marketing. You can put that on your website. You know, here I am looking, the long ball gowns, unless they tell you it's a formal affair, you look a little silly. I'm just going to be frank. I mean, if it's not LA, it's not a big, you know, huge, fancy, schmancy, grand, whatever. Usually people do wear longer dresses, but you usually can tell that they are the public. So unless it's, unless you're ready for the red carpet in LA for a bigger festival. What else? Filmmaker Breakfast. For actors, quite often you get, there are some film festivals that only give you one badge, which means you can get into everything for free. Again, that's the filmmaker badge here. But I've had some film festivals, if I knew my actors were coming, I would ask the film festival and say, listen, my actors are coming from the thing. Can I get an extra badge? And sometimes they'll do it and sometimes they won't. They'll be like, forget about it. It's everybody's games. But you need to ask your filmmaker if you could get one of these if you're attending, because sometimes your filmmaker is only going and by themselves and they're just using one badge. If you can get that other badge, it's going to be free for you, which is really a huge savings for you. Usually they have hotels. You need to budget for these things. Usually the hotel is going to be something that is, they'll have a discount for it for the filmmakers, and that includes the actors too. You can ask for those codes. So you really want to ask your filmmaker, hey, are they offering any discounts? Am I getting in for free? Do I have to pay for these things? There's no harm in asking that filmmaker that, because I just got one of the film festivals we're going to be in. They gave me 4 badges, which is just crazy. That never happens that I get 4, but I'm really happy because I do want to bring some actors and that I don't want to have them pay for it. So that's really good. So workshops, make sure you're using those workshops and getting to know people. Sometimes they have casting directors that are part of the workshops too. So make sure that you take a look at that. What else is I going to cover here? I'm trying to think. Does anybody have any questions about, I was going to just give you a little tip. I'm a short filmmaker. I have not made my feature yet. And I have to say that the features get a lot of the attention, like the big attention. So one of the nice things is when it is a short film festival and all they're showing is shorts, you have spoke on some of those panels, Kathy. It's a little nicer because sometimes the shorts get a little poo-pooed. There's like a little hierarchy to the whole thing. And the features are really, the people that everybody wants to talk to. But that is changing. I'm just here to say that that's changing because in the film festival circuit, there's just so many more outlets, VOD, video on demand, that you could sell these shorts, and that there's whole film festivals that have web series. You can enter your web series in and your pilot for your web series. Just make sure it's not online, because if it is online, it won't qualify for a film festival. And also, just another little hint, we'll talk about some of these things again later, is that if you are doing a short, 10 minutes or less, because you have to think of this. Kathy sold her shorts. That's terrific. But right now, what people are saying to me, my short is 12.5 minutes. And I've had several people say to me, hey, could you knock the 2.5 minutes off? Could you get it to 10? Because there are different cable networks that will take 10 minutes for the half hour, and they would like it to be under 10. Like if they could get a 6, and they could get an 8, and they could get a 9, then they get their programming in too. So that's what I've been being asked more and more is, 10 or under. Something for you to think about anyway. But okay, if anybody has any questions, once again, I'm going to remind you that the person who gives me the most hearts by the end of the week, I will personally send you one of our stunning, one for 18 and one for 22. That's terrific, Kathy. That's amazing. Well, you know what? Because with an 18, you could be the half-hour slot too on cable. So that makes sense with advertising, right? Because you have to think of it in terms of 30-minute slots. What do they call it? 23? I think it's a 23-minute thing with the commercials. Anyway, the one who gives me the most hearts by the end of this week, by Friday night, is going to be the new owner of a Failure Groupies mug. And I know you're all dying out there. You gotta have one. You gotta have one. You can drink your wine out of this. I quite often do drink my wine out of this. Okay, so does anybody have 2 things here? Anybody have any questions about, hey, Kana, how are you? Kana 7. Hey, 7 is my lucky number. I got married on 7707. So I'm just here to tell you 7's a good number. But if anybody has questions about how to network at the film festivals, like I said, coming in for just your film and leaving is not great. Think about the questions that might be asked to you at the talkback. They call, you know, yes, I'm doing my Jane Lynch impression here with my I don't know if it's Becky. Yes, I'm wearing my Jane Lynch warm-up suit. But does anybody have any questions about how to network, how to make the most of your time? I will say that the opening night parties, not a lot of the filmmakers are not at the opening night as much, and it's usually expensive if you have to pay your own way in because they haven't gotten there. They haven't arrived yet, usually because it is expensive to stay for 2 or 3 days depending on the film festival, so that they're timing how many nights they have to be in the hotel. Remember, filmmakers aren't, especially on the indie circuit, it's just really expensive. So if you just, you know, and prep for your question and answers. Because afterwards they're going to ask you a ton of, they'll ask the filmmaker one thing, but they'll ask actors different questions. How'd you memorize your lines? Were you uncomfortable in that bathing suit? You know what I mean? Like, our next fest is Trenton Society Film Festival. I think that's what it's called. It's in Trenton. And it's at June 13th at 2:30 p.m. And then we are at the Manhattan Film Festival. And I have my wingman all lined up for the Manhattan Film Festival. We're June 16th. I misspoke last night. I doth mistake. By misspeak. It's June 16th at 9 p.m., which is an interesting time for shorts with a bunch of teenagers in it. So I don't think the kids are going to be coming from the, but it's in Manhattan, so maybe they will. We'll see, because that's a nice festival. It does have distributors that come to it. That's the thing to take a look at. Like, if I'm going to pick which film festival you're going to go to, we're going to have a whole night on, you know, which film festivals are worth your time to make sure you get. Yeah, see, Tiffany, I saw your trailer. You looked, that's you, fantastic. I mean, hot-cha, Tiffany, hot-cha. And that looks like a really interesting film that you're in. Tell everybody the name of it again so that they can, if you type it up here, they can, and then I will spell it out because I know it has, it's Roubado, R-O-U-B-A-D-O. R-O-U-B-A-D-O is the name of the film that Tiffany is in that's going to be, am I located back east? I am east. I am in, I've shot all 4 of my films in Randolph, New Jersey, and this next one we're not sure because of the New Jersey as of June 30th does not have the tax incentive. It will run out, and we're waiting for the legend. I had a conversation with the New Jersey Film Board today, and we would have to be shooting before June 30th, and since the script isn't done, that's really probably not going to happen. But it would be cheaper for us to shoot it in LA, probably. So this is up in the air, but we could shoot in New York because we would get the 30% tax incentive, Kathy. So we are, since the film has some connections to 9/11, I would prefer to shoot it here if I could. But, oh, Kathy's in the Nassau. Kathy is saying one of her films is screening in Nassau County on June 2nd. Can you Twitter that information to me, Kathy, and I'll tweet it out to everybody as well. Does anybody else have any film festivals coming up that they want to announce? I will read it out loud on the air. Otherwise, that would be terrific. Give a few hearts here, and we'll see by the end of the week who gets the mug. The second thing I wanted to ask you guys is the subject matter for tomorrow night. Remember, we went through all the different subject matters that we could be talking about. And I wanted to see if anything is burning here. What about, one of the things that we have not done, what we haven't talked about yet is legalities, like how to get your script registered. You're talking about are ideas copyrightable, which they're not. So let me know, I think tomorrow night maybe we'll do that. Like, I have an idea for a script, or I've written a script, now what? Like, how do I protect myself? How do I make sure that should a distributor want to pick us up, that our paperwork is in order. I've had my lawyer tell me, listen, you know, if this isn't in order, I've watched beautiful films not get picked up because there was no paperwork, or the paperwork was not in order, and it just couldn't be sold because nobody would touch it because they didn't get the proper forms and agreements done with your DP, with your director, didn't have the copyright in place right, you know, Writers Guild versus the copyrights. Why don't we do that tomorrow night? Clearances. There's, and you know, Kathy knows a lot about this. Follow Kathy Carey, who has sold films. And how do you tell if you're being overprotective or too precious? Oh, with your ideas? Overprotective or too precious with your ideas? Listen, there's a great book that talks about this. Both The War of Art and Save the Cat. And the Save the Cat is great. He talks about, oh, I'll show you the book. I brought out these books tonight so that I could, you know, and then what did I do with them? Save the Cat. Here we go. I've got, this is Save the Cat. Okay, well, here, let me tell you something about ideas, and we'll discuss that. Ideas are not copyrightable. You can't copyright an idea. It has to be written down somehow. And any lawyer will tell you this. They will throw the book at you about that. You can talk about it and pitch it, but you should get a log line ready and a title and already know what your poster is going to look like before you start writing that sucker. And then you should get a rough draft or a treatment. If you don't know what a treatment is, we can talk about treatments one night. I can make that a subject matter. But because you can copyright those. Those are the things you can copyright. But an idea, you can't copyright. Them's the facts. Them's the way it goes. So here's another book that How to Write a Movie in 21 Days is a lot of fun. That's a fun book. And Save the Cat is a great book. And we talked about this last night. The War of Art, a great book. And I have my Pressfield book around here somewhere. And, you know, you can sign up for Robert McGee's emails. He sends these great emails out about script and structure and character development. So if you look at any of those are all great ideas. But I think we probably talked long enough tonight, probably. Andrew, give me some hearts because I have a contest going on, Andrew. I just saw Andrew, Pressfield. Yes, Pressfield has great ideas. And for the most hearts, at the end of the week, I am sending a free, you know, highly collectible Failure Groupies mug. And I know you're all dying to have one. So that's get on the heart patrol, huh? Okay, so tomorrow night we're going to talk about clearances. We're going to talk about legaling up so that you can go out there and pitch your idea, because you know what? The pitches are extremely important. What should you do? Isaac just asked, what should you do if you feel like your idea is similar to another idea that you've already seen? Should you just scrap that idea or continue with it? I would say this, it's very hard to know like what you're comparing it to, but if it's your journey, if it's something that is personal to you, it's going to be unique and different than the idea that you've already seen. So you would just have to be conscious of that. I mean, you have to feel very passionate about whatever it is that you're going to make that movie about, because not only are you going to be in all the pre-production, well, the writing of it, but then you're going to be in all the pre-production of it, then you're going to shoot it, and then you're going to spend months, sometimes over a year, on post-production on a film, if it's a feature, maybe. And so if this is not something that is near and dear to you, that is just you feel extremely passionate about, it might be cliche. If it's something that's very unique to something that is very personal to you, it's not going to, you're just not going to have, your voice is going to be unique if it's personal to you. I wouldn't worry about it if it's something that hits home with you, that you have personal experience with. That's how I would answer that question. I don't know if that works for you, Isaac, but listen, there's so many stories left right? In the whole world, everything revolves around love. So there are going to be repetition in the in ideas. You're welcome. You're welcome, Isaac. You're going to be always repeating some form of somebody else's story. I mean, look at poor Shakespeare. But that doesn't. If it's your own, it can't be repeated. And you know, the Save the Cat book is really good for this because he does talk repeatedly. He says he stands in the grocery line and he runs his pitches by people. And he hasn't done any copyrights and stuff on that. He knows he doesn't have the story right until he pitches the log line to somebody and they go, oh, I'd see that. And he said the more distracted the person is that you force to listen to your pitch, and the more you can stop them in their tracks and they want to hear more or they're intrigued, then you know you're on the right track. But if they're just like got that glazed look across their face, you know you're not ready to even write it yet. You don't know what you're talking about yet. You don't know why you're writing the movie yet. So the story may be similar to others. How your telling of the story is unique. Right. Yes. Nice, concise way to say it. I've been standing here mumbling like an idiot, and you just said it beautifully. Yes. It's your unique perspective on that story. I mean, somebody can get hit by a car on the street, and it can be seen by 4 different angles, and there's 4 different stories to this. And I'm telling you this from fact, because my dad's a cop, retired cop, and everybody will have seen the same thing. And because they've all seen it from their own unique angle, it's a different story. And that goes true for what's in your heart. You know, perception is reality, and we create our own realities based on perceptions we have, and your perception on a story is going to be different than somebody else's. And you just have to trust that, and then stay away from the cliches and be careful that you are telling your truth. And on that note, I think we're done for tonight. So tomorrow night we're going to do copyrights, clearances, lawyers. Do I need a lawyer? I'll show you some books. Some cool other books. A few hearts. Tell my friend producer if you want Brigitte. Brigitte. Oh, listen, I want Brigitte. Oh my God. Hey, listen, Andrew, who's on here right now, is going to be doing Bridget in the Sound of Music. And I'm talking at Birdland, you guys. What is it? January 28th. No, I don't even know what this is what post-production does to you people. What is it? June 28th, right at Birdland, Andrew? You want to see some braids on a guy with some good-looking legs. You show up to Birdland at 11 o'clock at night. That's all I'm saying. And on that note, I'm going to say goodnight, everybody, and thank you so much for coming. And you're very welcome, Kana7 and Tiffany. You're very welcome. If you have any other questions, Twitter it to me. I'm at Rosalie Tenset. Here's my information. You can find. Why don't you do a screenshot of that? If you do a screenshot of these things, I also upload the video then later to YouTube, my YouTube channel, which is my name, Rosalie Tenset, and I'm happy to answer the questions, or I'll get Kathy to answer them. Okay. Talk to you guys later. Thank you so much for showing up. Bye-bye.